Renovating a 5-inch gauge sweep piece steam locomotive. Part 24. Fitting a replacement injector water valve for 2 reasons. The main one being that I used Loctite 603 to fit the handle to the valve, and also I fitted the handle in the wrong position, plus the valve dripped water when in the off position. Here is the replacement valve from my friend Chris English, and it's pretty much like the one that I fitted in the first place. I hope this one doesn't leak. The job starts by assembling a kit of parts, the valve itself followed by the flange that allows it to be bolted to the footplate, and the handle that once fitted to the valve turns the water on or off. This system allows for fine control of the water feed, which always helps with the live steam injector. I've removed the union nuts and the union cones because these are too big, plus the piping, complete with its union adapters, is already made for this unit. This is what I should have done previously. I'm using a twist drill the same size as the hole to make sure that the centre drum that rotates stays in the middle. It's very important that this unit does not move on the flange, and here, as you can see, it's not in line with the flange. This is not my fault. I'm having to work to the 2 holes that are already drilled in the footplate, not quite in the right place. The flange has to be offset to fit the valve in the right position. And to make sure it can't move, it's fastened in place using some Loctite 603. This was a mistake by the original builder, owing to the holes needed to mount it to the footplate being too close to existing holes for mounting the cab. What I'm doing here is fitting the flange to the footplate using a couple of steel nuts and a socket driver. Nothing difficult here, just a little bit fiddly, as I had to hold a screwdriver down inside the cab to stop the bolts from rotating when I was fitting the nuts. As you can see, I've left the drill in place. I really want to make sure that I get the handle in the right position this time. You can't really see what I'm doing at the moment. I'm fitting the handle. I coated the end with some Loctite 603, and with the drill shaft still in place, I pushed the handle into the valve. What I'm doing here is just warming up the valve, not cremating it, not burning off the paint, but just warming it up to make the Loctite go off a little bit quicker. Here's the position of the handle when the valve is open, either this way or through 180 degrees at the other side. And when the handle is pointing at the 2 copper pipes from the safety valves, the water supply is turned off. Time now to fit my special T-piece, which allows me to change the water supply from either a tender feed or the tank itself. I'm using Loctite 542 for this. It's just thread sealant. I don't want to use 603 because I may need to remove it at some time. It's important that this T-piece is fitted in the same position as it was originally on the other valve. In order to prevent the spanner from marking the union nut, I'm using the spanner on the T-piece itself to put it in the right position. And now I'm fitting the second water inlet pipe, followed by fitting the saddle tank water inlet pipe. I'm pleased to say that everything is lining up quite well, mainly because it's already been together once, so the pipes are in the correct position to start with. I connected the water inlet pipe to the injector, and then I fitted the water inlet pipe to the other side of the valve, tightening the union nut using my Barco spanner as usual. If you watch my videos regularly, you will know that I do like these Barco spanners, mainly because they have wide jaws and don't mark the nuts, and also they are very well made. Here I'm fitting the piping which uses the old style union nuts to the injector, for no other reason than nostalgia, because this is how the engine's been for many years. Being a keyboard player has its advantages. I fitted both of the nuts at the same time, one with each hand. And here, one at a time, I'm tightening the nuts once again using the Barco spanner as always. Recently, a viewer sent me a very old 4-inch Barco spanner, and it's quite different to this one. It has its uses because it's physically smaller. But to be honest, I automatically reach for the one that I've used myself for many years. And there you have it, The water system is a lot better now. It doesn't seem to drip. It doesn't matter if the water feed to the injector does dribble slightly, because I can turn it off using the tap at the tank end. Well, Norman Shade, I never knew who you were, but you made a good job of the engine. And for that reason, here I'm drinking a quick toast to Norman Shade, who built this engine in 1987. Personally, I've found this to be a very enjoyable series. It's not quite over. I will show the mechanical adjustments, but I'd just like to flash back to episode 1 and show the photograph of the engine as I first saw it, and this was the good side. It looks a lot better now. All I need to do is get a boiler test certificate for it. I'll give it a steam test run on my garden picnic bench, and who knows, I may even run it. Just a final check of the water drip situation, and yes, it looks okay. No water on the bench this time. That's it for this episode. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.